What's good, people? This is episode 43. It's Rob McLean. Sports Debate Tuesday. The episode starts right now. This is episode 43. We're entering this Thanksgiving week. And for me, I'm going to go old school on you guys. I've got to give the people what they want. Rob McLean, episode 43, Sports Debate Tuesday. What's good, bro?
What's happening, brother?
Hey, people, thank you for joining us. This is going to be a shortened episode, but we are accepting quality over quantity this time. We're going to go straight to our NFL Pick 6. Before I give you my guest this week, let's take a look at how we did last week. Let's check. My man Cameron Beans decided to take this assignment, and these are the results. Me, it's a normal week. I'm 2-4. Letting the worst get worser or more worse. That's not Chris Ships, actually. That's Cameron Beans. I have Ships there by accident. And there's Rob McLean at a beautiful, near immaculate 5-1. Now let's check the cumulative results. Let's go. Right now I'm 21-31. Our guests are combined 32-20, and Rob is 30-22, catching up an inch at a time. Yep. Yeah. Hey, listen, I'm inching closer and you're inching further away. I'm inching further away. You're inching closer. It's ridiculous. All right, so let's take a look at our guest this week. It is the one, the only Sacred Heart University's own 4-year starter, outside hitter for them, middle and then outside hitter, and just fell in love with the beach. Jeff, I call him Republican Space Ranger Schitzel.
You know, he's an independent, though.
Yes, he is. Listen, that man, I ain't trying to get all political here, but he said he ain't vote for the orange, man. He is a conservative, but I don't know. Maybe I don't know. He's not.
I would love to find. Yeah, I would love to see an independent truly run against. The two parties. How about that,
dude? It's time, right? I mean, this year was time, but I think the problem is they wait too long, and you too long, too late. You don't have the wave. You got to start right now.
That is very true.
Pretty much right at our inauguration day. Go have a 4-year plan. Jesse's too old. Too bad. And here we go. NFL Pick 6. The Ravens versus the Steelers, Rob. Woo, the Ravens visiting the Steelers on Thanksgiving night.
Yeah, that's a good one. I mean, man, that's hard because I really feel like Lamar Jackson's going to just blow up the field this week. I don't know what it is. I think it's just a Thanksgiving kind of thing, but I'm going to have to go with the Steelers on this one.
Rob McLean. Don't we get tired of picking against the Steelers and losing? I think I've done that 5 times. This team is 10-0 right now, so I've been wrong all the time. And I was right with them once, the first game of the season. You picked the Giants. That was more faith.
Hey, nostalgic,
And there comes a time where you stop saying a team is fortunate. I got to go with the Steelers. I mean, they're hosting, again, a well-coached team. Ben Roethlisberger, even in his worst game this year, is not beating himself. And when you have a big Ben who's not beating himself, and a good Ben is just beating everybody deep, Chase Claypool is a problem. Mm-hmm. Okay, Juju Smith-Schuster is a problem. And Connor, is just enough. Is just enough to keep the field stretch and still respect that front line. So I got to go with the Steelers. Jeff Schitzel. Come on. What do we know about him? What do we know about Jeff? Can you guess who he picked?
Is he going? Oh yeah. He's a Baltimore guy, isn't he? Yeah.
I
mean, I don't hate this pick this week. I don't hate the Baltimore pick any week. What they're doing right now, I think they're starting to find teams are starting to find out what to do with Lamar. So
Jeff is he's Ravens all the way. All right, hey, game 2. Titans visiting the Indianapolis Colts. This is such an interesting pick. I'm gonna go first on this one, and
Please.
I'm picking this one on the fly because I looked at over and over and over again. And these are the teams you kind of bet against when it's close, and they're the ones that are always winning, except this week they're playing each other. Phil Rivers is a problem. Mike Vrabel's a very, very good coach. Tannehill was the one that helped this team come back, and Henry's the one that finished, and I think we're going to see a similar result. I'm going with the Titans.
Yeah, I mean, I think, again, the Titans are a team, some teams, it all changes, but I think they're a team who, they're going to beat the lesser teams and the teams they're trying to beat, those playoff teams, they're 50-50, it's a big toss up. So I think this is one of those teams they beat. And yeah, so I'll go with the Titans.
Yeah, good. Jeff is Schitzel is also going to go with the Titans. So that's a three-way horse. But I got to tell you, that's a two-horse race in that division. I thought it was just a one-horse race.
Mm-hmm.
Colts are competing there for real, and Rivers is all but resuscitated his career where people care to talk about him. Let's go game 3. This one you're going to go first. It's the Panthers visiting the Minnesota Vikings. Do the Vikings recover from that loss to the Dallas Cowboys?
I mean, I think for me, it's more of the Panthers have been playing really good football. I think they've kind of caught their stride. They've been playing at a certain level, and the Vikings are a team that's just super roller coaster, big ups, big downs. So I'm going to go with the Panthers on this one.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Vikings on this one because, like you said, it is a roller coaster, but the roller coaster hits its highest point when they play at home. I think second cousin's going to stretch the field with Thielen. I think Dalvin Cook, I mean, he got hurt, but he's not injured. I believe he's going to play, and as long as he's playing, I'm going to go with the Vikings. And Jeff, our man, Sacred Heart's own, Jeff Schitzel. What do we got, Jeff? Jeff's got the Panthers. He's got the Panthers. All right. Game 4. Game 4 is me. I'm going to go first on this one. It is the Cardinals, the Arizona Cardinals, who Hail Married my Buffalo Bills. The Cardinals this time are visiting the New England Patriots. This is a really, really tough pick for me, but Bill Belichick always seems to have problems against these mobile quarterbacks, and you got Hopkins, you got to respect Fitzgerald. Drake, is quietly averaging like 80 to 100 yards a game. He had 100 against the Buffalo Bills defense. That's nothing to write home about. The Bills let everybody run over them. Patriots are bend but don't break, and if it's a tight game situation, I can always rely on Cam to turn over the ball before Kyler Murray. I'm going to go with the Cardinals.
Yeah, this is a really tough game for me to choose. I think, talking about like types of teams again, I think the Cardinals are a team who will go 50-50 against anybody, whether it's the best team in the league or the worst team in the league, they may or may not lose that game. So when it comes to a team like the Patriots, where they probably should beat them, maybe they're taking the gas off the pedal just a little bit because they feel like they might not easily win the game, but they are, not the underdog in the game finally. The Patriots will scheme really well. Cam Newton, I do think he's going to play good football. He just came off of COVID, 2 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. He has to get back in the flow of football. But when he does, he is MVP caliber. Maybe a notch down from MVP caliber, but that's what you need from a quarterback.
Yeah.
And then talking about the mobile quarterbacks real quick, Belichick has never actually had really a mobile quarterback in his practice to mimic. I mean, of course he has, but
not
somebody
one.
The level of Cam Newton.
Not one.
And now you can kind of, game plan a little better for the Russell Wilsons and the Lamar Jacksons. And so it's I think that, the defense is going to be better than ever. And I think that, the Patriots are consistent enough. I think that the Patriots are going to win this game. So I'm going to pick the Patriots here.
Very good. Jeb Schitzel picks the Cardinals as well, but very, very good point. I mean, the Patriots right now at 4-6, they probably know 10-6 gets in the division, including, a remaining game against the Buffalo Bills. So they know they have to mind their P's and Q's. And I think Bill coaches his best when his back's to the wall. And I believe Cam is going to finish strong. The question is it going to be too little too late? Do they only win the last 4 but lose a bunch of games in between where they're just I don't know. They're just trying to have a strong finish in their season.
I gotta say this though, the Patriots surprised me in the beginning of the season of how much offense they could accumulate. You know, with how little talent they had, they put up points. So that's what I'm saying. I think if they can have good defense, they can put up the points to win.
Cool. All right, we got game 5. You're going to go first on this. I got the San Francisco 49ers. For some reason, I put Miners. Hello. Visiting the LA Rams. LA Rams victors last night over the Tampa Bay Bucks. Who you got, Rob?
I really like the Rams, man. I don't know what they're doing. They're just something in the organization is clicking again. Maybe they got some bad locker room presence out, or they're creating a good locker room presence, or they're just building from a good foundation. But something's clicking right now. Their defense looks stout. Goff is playing solid football. I really like what they're doing. So I'm on with the Rams.
Dude, they shut down the run, and they dared Goff to beat him with his arm, and beat him with his arm. He did 367 yards passing. 49ers defense is pretty stout, but they don't really have an answer on the other end. And if it's a low-scoring affair, I'm going to go with Sean McVay on this, and I'm going to go with Goff. As all Goff all Goff has to do is if he's going to turn over the ball, if he's going to take a shot, just make it deep, right? It's equivalent to a punt, and I think Ramsey and I think Donald can get the ball back for him multiple times. I think you can co-sign with me. I see at least 2 turnovers. The Rams actually getting 2 turnovers with that defense, and like you said, they're hitting their stride. They're special right now, dude.
And I like to say that the 2 most important positions you have to have on your defensive football team is a star cornerback and a star defensive lineman. If you do not have those 2 things, your defense is not.
Yeah, and if you have 3, if you have if you have all 3 levels, like front 4 linebacker and like DB, like the Ravens did when they won, Ray Lewis, Suggs, and Reed. That's golden, man. And they're one linebacker away from that, right? Schetzel's going to go with the Rams here. It's pretty academic, so cool. So we're going to go to our last game, and I'm going to go first on this one. This is the Kansas City Chiefs. I believe it's is it a night game? Sunday night game? Doesn't matter. The Chiefs are visiting the Tampa Bay Bucks. So the question is, did the Tampa Bay Bucks recover from this loss? And the answer to me is absolutely yes. There is no team that bounces back from a loss better than Tom Brady. They have the tools, and I think this whole filling out process of overfeeding Antonio Brown, that experiment's done. You gotta listen. It is a diva-ridden position, driven position, no matter how humble the wide receivers is. Mike Evans is not a diva. No one would even dare call him that. But Mike Evans knows that if you throw the ball to him and he's been productive, and you're throwing the ball to the other guy and he's not been, it is common sense. It's not divaism to say I want the ball in that case. And I think you agree with me. And I think the Bucks figured that out, and I got the Bucks for this against Kansas City.
Well, just even to piggyback off that point, Goodwin is just as good as a wide receiver, even though he hasn't been in that much. But he deserves the catches too. And so it kind of perplexed me that they even got Antonio Brown, just for the future terms. But very interesting. So when I think that Tampa Bay is a great comeback team, or good off of a loss, but good enough to play at Kansas City's level is my question. So I'm going to have to go with Kansas City, just on the fact that I think that the Tampa Bay still is trying to find out their chemistry in their locker room. They have a lot of young upper level players, upper echelon players, Devin White, but he's still 1-2 years in the league. It's a lot to have a voice in the locker room to say how things should be. So I think they're still trying to find their identity. So I feel like the Kansas City Chiefs are going to come out with this game.
All right. Appears Jeff feels the same way you do, Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, half of me is trying to play catch up, but I'm probably going to dig myself a deeper hole. But there's only 1 or 2 ways I know how to do it. So just pick the games that are the most fun and Brady's my boyfriend. I might have to dump him if he keeps acting like this, if he keeps misbehaving.
Tough schedule, man. AFC East never been this hard ever.
That's true.
Yeah,
right. Think about that stacked team, and yet they're not even the best in their division, even
Mm-mm.
without Breeze.
And they kept stacking guys like Leonard Fournette
Yeah.
and Gronk. And, I'm at this team, but even before the season, people were saying we're a Super Bowl contender. That was before Gronk, before Leonard Fournette. I mean, I don't know exactly what they saw in this team. They had no tight end presence outside of him.
Oh
So
man.
I might try to shoot out OJ Howard, but man, they're all the touchdowns are going to Mike Evans and,
Yeah,
trying
not
to
for my
overfeed
fantasy
Antonio
team, no.
Brown.
Not
That's
for my
another guy that
fantasy
can
team.
ask for some catches.
If I told you Robert Woods was going to get more from the Rams is going to get more fantasy points than Mike Evans, you would have told me to go to the Sports Debate Tuesday headquarters and get drug tested. Okay, I'm a pee hot. Okay. All right, so listen, short show today, guys. We're going to do quick question, but first we have one, and I'm dropping this on you like a bomb, my poor Rob McLean, for this section of to shame or not to shame.
Shame. Shame. Shame. Shame. Shame.
So, Rob, to shame or not to shame? The Seminoles of Florida State cancel their game against Clemson due to COVID concerns. Clemson coach is not happy, said his team was ready and it should be a forfeit. So, the shame or no shame question is it to shame or not to shame the Clemson coach for his comments?
I'm hoping to preface this with that he, of course, felt, bad that the players were, COVID positive and that, there was some humanitarian, respect there for the coaches. But past that, I think that's why it's so difficult. I mean, I don't think it should be a forfeit if they can't replay it. I think it should just be, taken away from, their ranking, to be into the football. It's very difficult. I don't think there's a lot you can do. I think they just kind of have to call it a forfeit. It's the same for everybody.
Yeah. For me, I go shame on the coach, but at that point it has to be a forfeit because there's too many moving parts. You're already there. You're flying. You're ready to fly there, but shame on the coach saying that he didn't want to play us and all that stuff. I mean, there are. You're a coach and you're not a doctor, and I hate to say that. I really hate saying that, Rob, because I don't think you have to be a doctor or a lawyer or whatever to actually comment on something. I think if you do your research and if you follow people who are experts in their fields and you parrot their sentiment, there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think that this head coach needs to be a doctor to say what he has to say. But in this case, I think he does. I think you always have to err on the side of caution. I mean, this thing, I know it's more younger people are more resistant to it. And I saw some studies about O positive people being more resistant to it, but this thing literally kills people, right? You have 476 deaths today. So you can't be playing with people's lives like that for the sake of a football game, for the sake of, we had to spend all this money. That's ridiculous. All right.
Yeah.
You have plenty of money, Clemson University. You have plenty of money generated by kids who don't even freaking gets a profit from their likeness. All right. You give them a scholarship, which is expensive. It's maybe a couple of $100,000, but pales in comparison to the millions that these kids are bringing in. So, one of my favorite coaches, definitely one of my favorite teams, but watch your mouth. You watch your mouth. All right, Rob. Last but not least, we're going to go quick question. Quick question. Rob, quick question. The way Green Bay's playing football, actually, cumulatively this whole year, do they have a shot at winning the Super Bowl?
A shot, but I still think their defense is not good enough.
I say no. I mean, the NFC is too deep. I wouldn't even say a shot. I mean, they're going to have to win 2 road games to get there. No way in hell. Quick question, Rob. Is it time to worry about Lamar Jackson?
Definitely. Like I was saying before, I feel like teams are starting to figure out what he can and can't do and, trying to exploit that.
Yeah, it's a copycat league, man, and I say it is time to worry about Lamar Jackson, but this Thursday he can make liars out of both of us. Who knows? Quick question, Rob. Should the Philadelphia Eagles bench Carson Wentz?
You know what? Yes. Just when I now see what happened to Joe Burrow, I think that you have to protect your guy, and if you're not having a successful season, see what your backup quarterback can do. Take out some of your top wide receivers or your top offensive linemen, and get a better reading on the season. So sorry.
You know what? If the Eagles weren't in the NFC East, that AKA the NFC least, I would totally agree with you. You draft someone in the first round, or Hurts, right? Jalen Hurts, or late in the first round, wherever he was, but he's a quality quarterback. But you draft someone like that to see if he's your guy, and you have to find out sooner or later if he's your guy. So normally you would say bench Wentz, forget this season, but dude, you are at 3-6-1. You are first place in the NFC East with a chance to win the title and have a home playoff game. So only because they're in the NFC East, I say no for now.
But let me ask you this, just
Please,
not to go too far on it.
No,
but,
let's do it.
Let's say they make it into the playoffs. Let's say Wentz gets hurt, week 16, 17, trying to get them into the playoffs. They squeak into the playoffs. They're not going to do anything in the playoffs. At the end of the year, the whole thing about making it to playoffs is that you're going to have a chance to play in the Super Bowl.
Right.
No team in the NFC East has a chance to make it past the wild card game. That's just what it is, except for the division leader. And that guy doesn't have a chance to make it past the next game.
Well, Rob,
so
it wouldn't be the
it's
first
just
time.
what it is.
It wouldn't be the first time that the Eagles had a super sub go through the playoffs and take him to the Super Bowl.
Yes,
okay?
But a team that was less than 500 games by 5 games. We're talking about a possible 10-loss team going into the playoffs, potentially.
I love your face right now. You're like, dude, you need to go somewhere with this question.
Because on some real, I don't want anybody from the NFC East going out. Nobody.
Isn't that weird?
Giants win, we're going home.
Look, with 7 teams in the playoffs, can't they just treat it like a 6? Give the other team a bye.
Yeah, they should. Anybody gets hurt playing a playoff game against the NFC East, it's a joke.
That's hilarious. And it's so true. All right, Rob. How do I even finish with that? Okay. Segue into this. Quick question. Should the Bengals have handled Joe Burrow, or did the Bengals handle Joe Burrow correctly?
You want this first?
Yeah, I'd say yeah. You gotta, if it's your guy, you gotta let him play as much games as you can. You gotta make him take his lumps, but at the same time, in some of these situations that are blowouts, you gotta know when to take him out. So yes, and yeah, and shit happens, and he'll be back. He said you're not gonna get rid of him that easy.
Stuff happens. I don't know if it was coaching or whatnot, but I feel like he's an amazing player. I feel like we kind of saw what he was capable of doing this year already. You know what I mean? And it's like, at the end of the day, 5 years down the road, imagine Joe Burrow without an MCL tear, and I think it's just that you can tell by the way that they're playing, the way that he's scrapping around. There's a better way to do this. You know what I mean? That should be a backup quarterback's job. That's not your franchise number one player. And that's the only problem I have with that is, when you draft a Chase Young number 2, you play him all the time. Yeah, because he's not going to get hurt. But when you have a smaller guy, or let's say a running back you just got first year, or you got a small little quarterback, or you got a slot wide receiver. Why do you think they didn't play Justin Jefferson for the first 4 games? It's because he needs to get acclimated to the league. It's the same thing with a quarterback. These young guys like Josh Rosen, when he had his 1 year in Arizona, man, he'll never be the same. And I'm not saying Joe Burrow won't be the same,
right,
but he's going to be different.
Yeah.
He's going to be different. He's going to have less sense of pressure. He's going to have that little, monkey on his back. He's got to get off again, because there were guys running after him. He didn't have a clean pocket. He didn't have an LSU, perfect season where everything is just one throw away from a touchdown, I think that really does affect quarterbacks. It brings down, just like Baker Mayfield, it brings down that shield of armor that you bring from successful, feats you do in your life.
Yep. Yeah.
And
Do you think
how
much do you think a shortened season had to do with that? Like if they had a full preseason, you think they'd maybe diagnose that better and how to handle him? I mean, there was
I
no
think
preseason. That's very high risk for injury.
no preseason, but there's been a lot of talk, a lot of discussion about how the preseason is. Well, it's already been truncated the last 2 seasons anyway, where about third or a fourth of the training camp is no touch. Like you can't touch anybody. There's no non-contact drills. So it's already been changing that direction. Now that there's been no preseason, I think it actually benefited. I think teams don't physically know how to deal with that impact yet. So we still have to figure out that side of it. But the game looks a lot better. Football looks a lot cleaner. It looks a lot more technical. The teams that are bad are still putting up good points. They're still playing good games. There's not been huge blowouts because the team's been that bad.
And the Bengals have been fun to watch, right? We literally follow this guy every week, man.
That's why I'm saying it's like they're fun to watch, but we know they're going to lose. That's why I say I think that they handled it incorrectly to a point. It would have been so different and so, change the whole dynamic of how to deal with the number one pick. But I do believe they weren't going to win games. He was going to get hit more, and yes, he does need his repetitions, but do that for, half a game or put him in for the second half, put him in for 3 quarters, second, third, fourth, it's just doing that for the whole game, man, for that guy, that little, and, he's running around, he's going to get hurt. I just feel that,
Cool.
If Tua, I would say the same thing for Tua.
Yep.
If he was in a situation where he'd have to run around and move around, especially him, because he's not necessarily in the greatest bill of health, I would say not to bench him, but be ready to put Ryan Fitzpatrick in, be ready to, have that second guy get in there, keep the drill, even if you don't score. Just don't let that guy get hurt. Clean up everything else around the game, and then get him back in there.
Definitely.
For the first year, for the 2 years. I'm not saying for his career, but be smarter. I think.
So for me, it's a yes, and for you, it's an emphatic no. They did not handle it well. Very good, Rob. Quick question. Couple of more left. Can the Saints win the division with Taysom Hill?
No.
I say yes. I say yes. I think they got a good head start. And I think I don't know if there's such a thing as keep away ball in the division, but I think if there is, I think they got it. And they're rushing with him too. 168 yards rushing. He actually rushed for 2 touchdowns. 18 to 23. Not bad for a start, right? 18 to 23, 233 yards passing.
I don't think it's bad. I just, I think that's, Lamar Jackson land. It's a poor man's Lamar Jackson.
Yeah. And it's a copycat league, right? They're going to figure this kid out sooner than later.
Very soon.
Yeah. Hey,
and they've been doing that play for 4 or 5 years now, now they're going to run an entire scheme around it. That's very, very different of Sean Payton.
All right, check it out. I'm going to give you four draft picks and we'll just do a yes or no on these, right? Edwards goes number 1 to the T-Wolves.
Like yes or no, good or bad?
Yeah, like yes. Like a thumbs up.
No, bad. I don't like that.
Okay, I go thumbs up. I go good. LaMelo Ball going to the Hornets. Thumbs up or thumbs down?
Good. Yeah, I think they need an influx of talent. I don't think he's that good though.
I say thumbs down. He needed to be in a system where his brother was. Thumbs up or thumbs down. Warriors take Wiseman with the 2nd pick.
Huge thumbs up.
As a steal.
Huge thumbs up.
Yeah, in light of the fact Klay Thompson might be out for the whole season again. I mean,
but hey, maybe we'll see some real basketball again. Some big man type things.
Thumbs up or thumbs down. You're gonna appreciate this. Obi Toppin out of Dayton. With the New York Knicks.
I mean, thumbs up, best player available, too old to really do that much in the long term, but we don't need a long term for Knicks. We need success.
He went the 8th round. I say an emphatic thumbs up. This kid said he will do anything to help New York win. He is a New York product, and he was. You never see a team emotionally almost crying to go with a loser ass team like the New York Knicks. And this kid wants in. You build something, and I know, he's a big man in a guard's game, but I really don't buy that all the time. I think the Golden State Warriors were kind of an anomaly. It's not really that much of a guards game. It's a two guards game, like like Kawhi Leonard or whatever. But at the end of the day, man, those playoff teams to actually get to the conference finals, man, you need that big guy. I mean, look at all the guards that didn't succeed. Look at the Houston Rockets. They had 3 guys that could shoot last year and got nowhere. Look at the Oklahoma City Thunder, right? I mean. So it's not, I'm not taking these anomalies and be like, oh yeah, everyone's going to shoot like freaking Clay or like Curry. Come on, stop that.
Yeah, it's true.
Would you say?
I mean, I love Obi Toppin. I think that he's, let's say the offensive Draymond Green, right? He's very intense. He's got that, that motor, but, he's maybe on the offensive side instead of the defensive side. That's,
and he's
that's
a
what
Thibodeau
Knicks
guy.
fans want.
That's a Thibodeau guy, man. What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Smart, strong. Yeah. I mean, that's and Thibodeau, going to make everybody on that team a defensive player. Right. So and I think that's a great idea too, getting offensive players into defensive systems. Now you have dual threats, you have the ability to, play as a team and win as a team. So
wow.
I
Cool,
love that.
Man. Well, that's all I got for quick question. Guys, we got to bounce up out of here. We got a shortened episode, but like I said, quality over quantity. And I'm not going to say anything at the end. I just want Rob to do his Russell Simmons farewell. Go ahead, Rob.
Be good, y'all. Be good.
That's right. Again, Rob loves you, and I think I love you guys as well, okay? For Rob, keep it McLean. I'm Jason DeBiss. This is episode 43 of Sports Debate Tuesday. Have a very happy Thanksgiving and stuff your freaking faces, all right? We're out. Come check out the Option Podcast on OptionVB.com. It's also available on iTunes and Spotify and on YouTube under the NY Varsity Sports handle. You're going to love what you hear.